Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Land Before Time movie series. Yes. This thing is still going.
Okay.
Now,
to be fair, up until now, despite some fears, it's not like we've had a god-awful sequel. Sequels with problems, yes, but we've also had legit good sequels and stuff like 2 and 5. That being said, I might be able to find some value in this movie, but no, this one's bad. And trust me, I don't usually like to preface things by saying it's bad because I want to give people a time to judge. And you know what? Maybe Shiro and Dibs might find more enjoyment in this movie.
Believe it or not, guys, this is where a lot of people claim that the franchise officially jumped the shark. Just think about that for a moment.
Fun fact, I've checked TV tropes, and there's actually a lot of different variations for fan-on discontinuity involving this series. Like, some people erase certain movies from their own personal headcanons of this one. Some people accept all the sequels, but block out the TV series. Some people just take the original and the TV series, but ignore the sequels, which kind of doesn't make sense given who shows up in the TV series, but I digress. That being said, when it comes to this movie, pretty much the only reason people include this in their own personal headcanons is because they really like the villain. Because other than that, oh boy, this is the movie me and Pedro have been warning you guys about.
I'm scared.
Yes. All right. Well, no, don't be Shiro. It's more so a laughable jump the shark rather than a painful jump the shark.
I will say this, though. This is as bad as the sequels get. That doesn't mean that other sequels are necessarily good, but as far as I can recall, this is the worst the sequels ever got.
So, we'll see. Land Before Time 7... The Stone of Cold Fire.
All right,
start before the Universal logo. You already know how this goes, so let's go. 3, 2, 1, click. All right. Well, at least there's no stupid cartoon logo.
I'm curious, Pedro. Is there actually a sequel you think is worse than this one?
How about this? I'll respond to you after we get through all of them because I would have to have them fresher on my mind before I.
Well, my point was, I recall you yourself saying that you thought this one was the worst, but now you sound like you might have a different feeling about that.
Well, the ending of this movie is probably the one that just makes you go, really? If they were, but whatever. We'll see.
Trust me, it's not just the ending I have a problem with in this movie that honestly makes it kind of the worst for me in that regard.
Okay, so once again, The Land Before Time 7 is going to start, if I remember correctly, with a narration about the creation of the universe and all that shit. Which, again, guys, it's movie 7. No one's going to use this as a jumping on point.
Okay.
We don't need a recap every single movie.
I'm gonna be fair to movie 14 when it did it, though, given how the series had been on a long hiatus.
Oh, yeah, movie 14, that one is excusable, not this one too, because these movies were basically coming out on a yearly basis. Hey, Dwebs, I noticed that you're watching the next Pokemon movie. Allow me to take these 2 minutes to explain to you what Pokemon is, even though you've already seen like 7 of them.
Okay.
So, A Land Before Time in the year 2000. This should be fun.
This is also the part, there you go. Okay, the Stone of Cold. Yeah, I forgot this is the Moon of Tyranno. Yeah, Jova's right, yeah. Okay, well, the thing is, Jova, I will understand, like Bob said in his review, I do kind of enjoy what they're trying to do with Tyranno, but the problem is, like Bobby himself said, he's a bit inconsistent with the way he is.
Oh, trust me, I absolutely get it too. Like, I consider him one of the better characters. Part of the problem is what the story tries to do with him, and what happens with there. That said,
I do understand, and I do enjoy the idea. I think the execution is a bit flawed, but we'll talk about it.
That kind of goes without saying when discussing this movie. It's just that Tyranno is pretty much the only reason people don't want to forget about this movie completely.
Yeah. Because aside from that, this movie is basically just a whole lot of nothing, and what it does bring to the overall mythos is stupid, and we'll talk about it when it comes out.
Also, Sarah's still a petty bitch.
But hey, I have good news, though. Her cousins are nowhere to be found in this movie.
So So this is the first movie in the series to have entirely
Yes.
as opposed to cell.
Oh, yeah.
I'm fine with this, actually. Like, I mean, okay, contrary to the myth that some people say and think, just because a show or movie series converts to digital, to digitally colored art than hand-drawn colored art, does not necessarily mean the art style is going to change with it. And I will give them credit. It does seem like the art style is still there despite being digitally colored.
I actually think the movie looks fine. Although there's still going to be some animation errors, like as is common in these sequels.
Yeah.
Which again, in fact, Jova, actually you brought up a good point. The fact that this is now switched to digital animation makes those animation errors even more inexcusable, because with digital animation, it's much easier to go back into the footage and, rework that and fix that. Whereas with cell animation, it's much more expensive and time consuming, which of course you give it a bit more of a pass there.
To give them credit though, digital art is not automatically a fix. It still is something that you can mess up accidentally. Now, okay. Now, the difference between, say, something like this and Alpha and Omega Free, Alpha and Omega Free was completely computer animated, so, like, no. They had to have knowingly put that in there. This is still technically hand-drawn, but it's digitally colored in, essentially.
So it's, okay, never mind. I forgot about that. Yeah, you're right. Never mind, Joe is right. Anyway, yeah, comment.
You're asleep.
Well, that's nice to say that Kenneth Mars is still playing Grandpa Longneck.
Oh yeah, he pretty much would be in all of them except for movie 14, because, he was dead by that point.
It's just that, like the new guy they got him to play in movie 14, it doesn't sound even remotely anything like Kenneth Mars.
Again, I have to give Kenneth Mars credit for actually sticking around with the franchise for this long.
Well, that's the thing, Jova. Outside of King Triton and Grandpa Longneck, Kenneth Mars has never had that much in terms of his voice working career.
Which is weird. You'd think being part of the Disney flippin' Renaissance, he'd have been set pretty well.
Apparently not. Is it just me, or is Sarah's dad off model? Like, seriously, the way he looks, he looks off. Like,
again, kudos to them. They are still maintaining Topsy's character development, since he's actually willing to even listen and explain what Littlefoot saw.
Sure. I'm talking about more his look rather than the character.
Oh yeah, no, the look. It does look a bit weird, you're right.
Yeah, that's what they call meteorites, flying rocks.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. He just said, once again, I have to point this out. Joe knows what I'm talking about. Keep in mind how he called it a dream. Maybe you saw it in a dream. He just said dream. Keep this in mind for
these two.
Oh God! But there you go, Shuei. These two characters are these two characters are probably some of the most disliked in the community, in the four-time community for a good reason that we'll comment on.
Oh, trust me, we've seen our fair share of characters that definitely have their hate dumps, but I have yet to think of a single Land Before Time character who's hated more than these two. Let me put it like this. People probably like the T-Rex that killed Littlefoot's mother more than these two characters.
Wait, seriously?
Yes.
You'll see, Shirai. You'll see.
Oh, no, they're having an I Want More song.
No, a song explaining what's beyond the series beyond, okay? Can people just say things anymore?
No, you have to sing everything.
Oh, God damn it, Felix Rice thinking again.
Wait, no, excuse me. This is not Monty Python, and this is not the Monty Python movie. Shut up. Unless you have Eric Idle on your movie, should not be a thing.
Is that the one where he plays that guy who sings that educational song while they're in space?
No, I was going to say, so what about Secret Nin 2 then? So what about Secret Nin 2 then, Pedro?
Meaning of Life is the third Monty Python movie.
Sarah, why are you joining in on this song?
Because I want to sing too.
Remember that. So these two are technically newbies.
These guys are asking questions. That's dangerous. How dare you want to know things?
I
Oh.
love how even Topsy kind of points out, you know, we're kind of all a little strange when you think about it. Like, you know something's off when Topsy is telling you to be more accepting of others.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I appreciate the idea of wanting to stick to his character development, but you don't need to pull a complete 180. You can still have him be a bit hard-headed here and there for the sake of, you know, giving him a unique personality. You don't have to completely eradicate his previous character in every way.
Maybe at some point people had a bit of backlash with that one moment where it seemed like Topsy was reverting in character, and they have never wanted to cross them ever since again.
I understand that, but I feel like they're overcompensating.
Oh, absolutely. I'm just trying to rationalize why they're overcompensating. Don't you technically know what's beyond this place anyway, since you kind of had to make your way here? In fact, come to think of it, didn't we have to leave this place in movie 5? Oh, and movie 4, too.
And now Disney's coming in to sue for stealing the wishing star. But anyway, yeah, what Jova said. All of you, hey guys, remember movie 1, where you all traveled through the mysterious beyond to get to this place? What happened to that?
Yeah,
you know that's beyond the mysterious beyond, you morons.
Well, you see, we got bored. We want to go somewhere else.
Oh, a stone of cold fire.
And don't worry, audience. Aside from that one I made at the beginning, well, I am not going to make a single Stone Cold Steve Austin joke. They've probably already been done.
Okay, can
oh my god, that is just pretentious.
Yeah, what Jova said. Can you stop saying beyond the mysterious beyond? That's just.
It's like you tried to will Star Trek Beyond into existence 16 years before it happens.
It's interesting you say that, Webbs. I'll get back to you.
Oh, are we going to use the Beastie Boys to save the day?
That would be preferable. Let's just continue.
I mean, it was an awesome sequence of that movie, but
you know,
rainbow faces.
Yes, Dwibs. That's what Dwibs. To be fair, that's what all the dinosaurs call them, because you know they technically have the rainbow beaks. Okay, and I will say this: I know that Topsy may seem like a dick in this scene, but nah, to his credit, these rainbow faces, again, that's what they're called, kind of have literally just been spouting nothing but nonsense. And they kind of only answer questions with questions, or like the Stegosaurus pointed out, riddles. Like, what's beyond the great beyond? Oh, a message. Well, what's the message? Oh, a message, and the message of the great beyond.
You're not even saying anything. You're just, like, what's up there? Oh, it's a message. What kind of message? A message of the mysterious, but you're not saying anything. You're talking, but you're not saying anything. But anyway.
And we'll learn later that these guys could have actually given more clear answers. Mind you, if they'd given those answers, that would be a whole nother problem in and of itself. But no, they have no reason to be talking like that.
And this, of course, sends Littlefoot into an existential crisis because, well, we need some kind of reason to kickstart the plot. And two things. Well, to be fair, him wanting to stay in the valley and not risk anything necessarily, that's in Topsy's character, so I'm okay with that. And second,
no, what I'm getting at is that what I'm getting at is that it feels like the plot is trying to portray Topsy as an asshole for treating the rainbow faces like that, but no, he kind of has a good point, I'd say.
That's a big problem with these sequels. Not reading the room or tonal dissonance, if you prefer.
Oh, that is quite possibly the biggest problem with this sequel as a whole.
like this, because I can speak for you guys, but I agree with Grandpa Longneck. There's absolutely no reason to go out into the beyond and risk ourselves just to see what the hell that thing is, because it's dangerous, and, you know, might as well stick. It's not like we have anything to gain from seeing what it is, so why bother risking our lives to do that? So, and yet, of course, Littlefoot has to do it because... there you go, here's Serrano, a.k.a. Petrie's uncle. Just because I have only just now been entered into this continuity, that is not an excuse for you to remember me.
Okay, also, is it me? Or is there some serious lip-syncing issues in this film?
Yes, Twibs, very good. One of the primary problems with these later sequels is the animation, and yes, some of the lip-syncing is also bad, which, again, you would think it would not be a problem because this is not a dub. This is the original audio. You'd think the animation would be, you know, set to the recordings of the voice actors, but apparently that's... I mean, was the animation made before the voice recording? That's the only explanation I can think of, but that's only done in Japan, in anime specifically, because in Japan, yeah, fun fact, in Japan, they actually animate first and record the voices later. So the actors have to set their lines according to the animation. In the West is the opposite. They record the voices, and then the animators animate according to the timing of the voices, which, of course, in my opinion, is a much better process. I don't know why Japan still does that, but whatever.
Why is the music so ominous now?
Because Michael Tavera was...
That's the thing, Shiroi. It has to do with the kind of characterization they want to make out of Tyranno here. You'll see. Again, I gotta love how Petrie should recognize him because it's his uncle, and yet but since he only came up with him for this movie, you know, they have to act Petrie, you know, not knowledgeable of who he is, so he can explain to the audience who he is when he shows up for the first time.
To his credit, the movie does come up with a reasonably good enough reason why he doesn't recognize him as much, since he has been hanging out with that other herd that stopped into the Great Valley. Mm-hmm. Also, his lackeys here appear to be played by Jim Cummings and Rob Paulson.
Well, once again, Rob Paulson in these movies, yeah.
I guess they're easy money at this point.
They are, sure. Remember, Rob Paulson was in fucking Balto 2. So...
Remember, he was also in Bobsy.
Okay, so here's one good thing about Tyranno as far as antagonists go. He's not a mindless predator or even a dumb one like we've had in some of the previous movies here and there. He's one who is legit cunning and arguably well written in his plans here and there. Now, the problem, I'd say, isn't so much his writing, but the writing surrounding him, as we'll come to see later.
Yeah, and as you can see,
nice metaphor.
As it's typical the case with these Land Before Time sequels, the plot really likes to spin its wheels here and there. Even though the movie is only 1 hour and 14 minutes, it still has scenes that come across as more like filler than anything.
I would say it's most egregious in this movie because, let's be honest, the reason for the plot happening is really a stretch.
Oh, well, remember, Joe, when we watched movie 4, and to a lesser extent movie 6. Movie 4 has so much filler because the plot is so shallow.
Oh, exactly. But I'll give movie 4 credit. Its plot at least had something of a good reason to happen, like Grandpa Longneck got sick, so we have to venture off into the Mistlands.
Mm-hmm.
This one, though, this literally just happens because someone spotted a flying rock.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's hear about why people are iffy on Toronto.
Well, maybe that's how these films will end. Hey, look, it's a flying rock. The end.
Hey, sure, since there were no cats yet in this time period, maybe we can say, adapt it to say curiosity killed the dino.
I guess, yeah.
Okay. So here's a bit of an issue. Grandpa Longneck says that Toronto is up to his old tricks, which implies that he did something very bad. Except the backstory we're about to get for Toronto really doesn't tie in with that intention.
Yeah. Not to mention, as Jova will also probably remember from like that. Let's just say the end of Tyranno's story in this movie is going to make all the other adults in the valley come across as real damn assholes.
Yep.
So look forward to that.
He's good with the kids, too. Hey, Tris McNeil.
Yep.
Literally have gone on 6 ventures with your friends and haven't died on a single one of them.
Uncle Tyranno.
Which is amazing still.
I can't really do a good Petrie voice, but Uncle Tyranno, my mom is calling me, so can you please get to the point so I can go? And
I'm totally not sus or anything.
and I guess we're not going to find out what the filler is until later. Moving on.
It's to leave you in suspense.
Petrie, take a big... Yeah, I can't do it.
Dinosaur equivalent of bowling?
Dinosaurs invented bowling.
Was the movie 10 seconds too short, so you had to add a scene of Spike playing dinosaur bowling?
Okay, it's unfortunate that I do have an early shift tomorrow, so no alcohol for me. So I'll have to make do with apple juice.
Okay. This movie...
Anyway.
Also, this movie may be bad, but I don't think it's the kind where you need to break out the booze for.
Most of these movies are not really. They're mostly just either face palming at worst or just plain laughable at best.
Or, you know, when they actually are legit good, like 2 and 5.
I'm not even a fan of those either. I actually prefer 5 over 2, I will say that though.
I can agree with that.
Well, hey, oh, I was looking at Trust McNeil. I guess he's Daisy Duck. Okay. Damn, Bejo.
What?
Trust McNeil was in like 5 Ghibli movies in 1 year.
I'm not surprised.
No, it's Tress McNeil.
2005 specifically.
It's Tress McNeil. She's kind of one of those actresses who's in everything.
Yep.
Here's part of my problem with this plot, okay. I get we're supposed to assume Tyranno's bad, but literally all we have to go off of is the word of others, and the kids just go along with that too.
And to be fair, we are going to see a flashback detailing what exactly was that thing that he did.
Which, again, also really plays into how it really is people just assuming the worst of him.
We'll see. Yeah, could you please stop spinning your wheels, movie? Can we please get on with this? Like... It's amazing to me how these movies are only 1 hour and 15 minutes long, and yet they still feel padded out.
What happened? Did they get too excited over the? We're using digital animation this time. Let's play around with it.
Honestly, I dare say, like, this might be the most padded out one. Like, when I usually think of this one, I usually think about, the main venture, but I forgot how long it takes us to get to even learning about Tyranno's backstory.
It's the same thing with movie 4, Jova. They came up with a very basic premise. The problem is they can't fill an hour and 50 minutes with it, so we have to put in a lot of filler to get to the necessary runtime.
Like, okay, with movies 2 and 5... whatever issues they may have had, they at least got to the subject matter point, so it didn't feel like we were just spinning our wheels for minutes here and there.
I'll give them that, yeah.
This movie and movie 4, though, oh, wow. Holy cow, the padding is real.
I really get the feeling by the time we got to movie 6, Joe, they really were scrapping the bottom of the barrel for ideas.
I mean... God, I feel like even movie 6 with its problems didn't feel as padded out as this movie does. Like, at least movie 6 established Lone Dinosaur and Secret of Source Rock relatively early into the film.
Oh God, was that supposed to be... Joe, is that supposed to be Toronto?
Yes, apparently they're supposed to look different in the darker lighting, but...
Okay, no,
not that different.
I'm sorry, there's darker lighting, and then there's just complete color change. That's not how Toronto looks like.
Like, his head is still, like, roughly the same color, why?
Okay, see, now, Jova, I can point out to the visual animation, because, like you said, this is digitally colored, so this would be a very easy thing to fix in post-production, but they didn't fix it because I guess they just don't give a fuck.
This isn't how... lighting works.
Either that or there was a massive coloring error. Because it's weird, because his goons look, like they're just darkened properly for the darkening here. Okay, here's the thing about Tyranno, though. If his head were the same color as the rest of his body, then at least that could be a darker look. It's literally just the head and beak that are off.
Notice how I had to do a double take and ask Jova if that was supposed to be Toronto, because I genuinely started doubting myself if that was supposed to be Toronto, because the color is so different.
So here's part of the big problem here. The evil plan of Tyranno is just to get the Stone of Cold Fire. Oh no, what a terrible thing.
Hey, Jova. Jova, considering how Bob loves putting out animation errors, I'm surprised he didn't point out this one.
What, the whole movie?
The fact that Toronto literally changes color.
Also, the whole movie is an error.
Oh God, was that supposed to be Topsy?
Yes.
Why did he... What's up with the colors in this scene?
You tell me.
Hell, even Littlefoot looks more bluish than usual.
Well, again, that's because it's the movie trying to simulate them looking different in the darkerness.
Petrie looks fine.
Okay, but it's his underside that looks darker, I guess, to show the flesh-colored stuff here and there.
I get the feeling. Okay. There are better ways of doing this. Usually there's a shadow effect cast over the existing model that they do, like something like... And plenty of animated films have done that. But can't you come up with some kind of shadowy effect rather than repainting the characters? Wait. Are pterodactyl wings supposed to be transparent? I don't think so. In fact, Petrie's wings don't look transparent. How come Toronto? How come?
I guess the idea is.
I think at this point we should stop asking these questions.
My guess is like, well, the idea is that for the bigger flyers, they have more surface area. Again, to kudos to Toronto, he does legit not want harm to come to innocent folks here and there. He doesn't want anyone following for his own reasons, mind you, but no, he is at least a villain with good graces and something of a moral complexity here and there. Now again, mind you, this is in the sense that he is definitely the best original thing from this movie in particular, because like I mentioned, as much as I may like his good aspects, the bad stuff still overshadows that in this movie.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, in a franchise with like 14 movies, I could imagine at least quite a few of them just kind of don't have many ideas, so they just be stuck in a holding pattern a lot of the time.
Yeah.
Wasn't there a really long gap between one or two of them at one point?
Yes, after movie 13, the movies finally stopped being made, but then Universal wanted to cash in on the newfound popularity of Jurassic World, so they decided to make a 14th movie. However, since that movie didn't do too well either, they didn't make a 15th movie.
I'll give him credit. I do feel like 14's one of the good ones. I mean, not the best one, but it was definitely not as bad as a lot of people were fearing it would be. Okay, so the backstory.
Yeah, keep that in mind for later.
Yeah.
So everyone knows what I'm talking about. Keep in mind what Grandpa Langneck just said. Yeah, let them finish the story, Petrie. Well, okay. Well, okay. Here's the thing, Grandpa Longneck. This could have happened anywhere.
Pretty much. And it looked like up until that point he was legit leading them a good way.
Yeah, like, okay, even if we went through your path, Grandpa, that wouldn't necessarily mean Velociraptors wouldn't attack us either, because Velociraptors are all over the Mysterious Beyond. This was just a case of bad luck, pure and simple.
Pretty much. And
Looks like you had a bad fall this spring.
Yeah.
And it's not even like Toronto doesn't feel guilty about it. He clearly does.
Yeah. Basically, this is the thing, sure. The reason nobody likes him is because he led his own group, and this group ended up being killed. However, as we just saw, it was just a pure case of bad luck, because there are no quote-unquote safe paths in the Mysterious Beyond. Danger can strike at every turn. Like, this was just a pure case of bad luck, nothing else. And yet somehow they decided to, I'm not kidding you, Shiroi, banish him from the Great Valley.
So, so his take is that apparently, supposedly, the problem they have with Toronto is that he takes credit when things are good, but never when things go bad. Except, no, that was legit not his fault. Like, what could he have done in that regard? Like, by that logic, if you guys were just going the way you did, but a Sharptooth ended up catching someone, it would have been your fault. Oh, wait! That's right, a Sharptooth killed Littlefoot's mother!
Yeah.
I mean, okay, I know that they got separated from the pack, but all of us, same still.
Yeah. You see what I mean? You see what me and Jova mean about the adults and the really come across as complete assholes in this movie?
Here's the bit. It's like I said, Toronto's a good written villain, but he's surrounded by a terribly written story.
That's the thing, Jova. He's not even a villain. He's more of a tragic character than anything.
Pretty much, but you know, the movie definitely goes for him as the villain and all that.
That's the problem. The movie is completely tone deaf. Like it makes no sense for Toronto to be a villain. He just had a case of bad luck, and like Jova said, he clearly was sorry about what happened, and you know, it was probably traumatic for him. You know.
In fact, we later see we actually later see that what he's trying to do is to try and make some amends for that as well, too, to an extent.
Yeah.
But again, it's like I said, he is definitely one of the best written characters we've gotten for this series in a while. The problem is just the movie he's in. And again, the story around him. Oh,
to
God,
mention,
you too.
I think Bob Shaw put it best. In fact, I think Bob Shaw put it best. He is a good character. He is good. The fact that he's a poor leader doesn't mean he's a bad person.
No, like, honestly, this is a case where it makes him a legit flawed character. Except, you know, it is such a paradox, where you have a character who's well-written, but the story doesn't seem to recognize the way that he's written in that regard. Yeah, it's almost like there were two different writers.
Yeah, the movie treats it as if it was his fault, even though, in the movie, we saw that flashback. You showed it to us. We clearly saw it wasn't exactly as they were just trying to take a detour through a canyon, which again, like so many dinosaurs do throughout this place, and they just got jumped by sharp teeth because, well, that kind of happens all the time in this Beyond. Well, fuck.
Idiot.
Oh my, wait, hold on. He's pink, and he's played by Rob Paulson, and he is clearly using the same voice that he uses for Pinky. I see what you did there. Well, that was a low blow.
Wow, rubbing the salt in the wound much?
Again, though, it is the movie going to great lengths to show that Toronto is not just some
oh my
big
god,
crook.
that pixelated rock.
Yeah, what the heck?
What the fuck happened there? Did you not have time to fully render that bit?
It's weird because it looked better in that other shot too, like...
What happened? Did they zoom in too much on the PNG file?
Jova, I'm starting to feel like the animators got a real bad trouble in adjusting to digital.
I think I see that too.
Seriously, how do you even get that wrong?
Okay. To give them credit, with any new tech, sometimes there may be, some errors that come the first time you use it. So maybe if they get better in later movies, I can get that this was maybe a rough turning point for them. Still was rough looking, but yeah.
So what you're saying, Joe, is that the Land Before Time series had a rough transition into digital.
Yes, yes it did. Let's just leave it at that.
Did you notice just now? The characters looked blurry for a bit there. Did you notice?
Weird aspects.
I don't... listen here. I love this one. I think this is the scene where she points out something about the... Yeah, here you go.
Huh.
Let's see where this goes.
If you say so.
If you say so. Also, movie, it's probably not a good idea to point out that your formula is getting old.
Well,
Just
hey,
saying.
now, well, hey,
Really?
okay.
Yeah. This formula's getting old. 7 movies in, only 7 more to go.
Okay. To their credit, I guess they're trying to at least do something about it rather than just pointing out problems and literally doing nothing about it. Why did they always look down?
Well, this didn't go as well as you thought, did it, Sarah?
Well...
Spike? No. Spike? Oh, God. And we're dead. And
Well,
they died. Well, and that was Land Before Time 7, and the end of the... Oh, okay. Never mind.
Got more pixelated bits just then.
Yeah. I get the feeling this movie was kind of rushed out the door.
Was there a year's gap?
Well, they produce these movies on a yearly basis, which, it's for the record.
Let me see. Land Before Time 7 came out in 2000.
Oh,
When did 6
wait.
come out?
1998, I believe.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, 1998, so they had 2 years at least.
Okay, in that case, it makes no sense for this to be this... Oh.
Oh, hey, Ducky. Okay, my theory is that maybe originally for 7 they were going to go hand-drawn, but at some point during development, they changed gears and decided to go digital art, and that's why they had to rush things, and things ended up being wonky like this.
I guess. Still doesn't quite explain the coloring issues with Toronto.
I think that was them trying to trying to use strictly the colors to shade stuff for the nighttime view, but obviously it didn't take off well.
I get that, Joel, but like I said, usually animated films cast some kind of shadowy effect on the characters when that happens, on the already existing colored character. They don't just flat out recolor characters. That's why I'm so confused, because it's so unlike any other animated movie I've seen.
Also, hey, even Ducky acknowledges that Tyranno's not all that bad, since she noticed that he was sad when she got dropped.
No. Okay, you can just say, look, guys, turns out Toronto is actually a good person, because I've overheard him.
But Pedro, everybody's got some good inside them. Oh my god, you cheated with that rhyming.
This is the one constant thing about all these movies. The songs are terrible at worst and flat out useless at best.
I mean, I'm fine with the songs in 5. And 6, if only because 6s are so silly that I'm kind of fine with them. Nah, these songs are bad, though. Yes, we get it. There's some good in Tyranno.
You see, Shiro, there's always you see, there's always good in everybody.
Sure, yeah.
And this song proves it.
I can't believe that, who wrote these songs.
Hold on. Sometimes we're wrong, sometimes we're right, but most of the times we're somewhere in between. What?
Well, I mean, they might be partly right and partly wrong.
I feel like they could have phrased that better.
No. You're right. Like I said, this song even cheats with the rhyming. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it does.
I wonder if these are songs written by the same people that wrote the song for Secret of Nim.
Oh, you mean the second movie?
Yeah, Secret of Nim 2, yeah, because the first one didn't have any songs.
I mean, I can't believe I'm gonna say this. I feel like Secret of Nim 2 at least tried better with its songs, especially Eric Idle's, because...
Yeah. No, I will agree with that as well. I mean, the songs in had better structure, better, and even, I will argue, maybe even better lyrics, to be honest.
But the singing in those was awful.
Oh, it was, except for Eric Idle, because Eric Idle is awesome at singing. So, he's freaking Eric Idle.
So I guess, so I guess that's a trade-off you have to consider. Do you want songs that are technically sung better but have terrible lyrics and pacing, or do you want songs that are structured better but have pretty bad singing in them?
I would go with answer C, considering the original movie didn't have songs, period. Don't have songs, period. That's my answer.
Yeah, okay, I can't remember. I swear, wasn't one of Don Bluth's actual movies a musical?
Several of his movies are musicals.
Thumbelina, Anastasia, Stroll in Central Park.
Okay, yeah, I haven't.
All Dogs Go to Heaven.
Okay, I haven't seen those aside from Troll in Central Park, and I hope the songs in those other films were better because
the songs in no, they're not. The songs in American Tail are good, but pretty much every song in his movie past All Dogs Go to Heaven is.
Hey, what about Rock?
No, never mind. Anastasia did have good songs, to be fair, actually.
What about good old ones like Rock-a-Doodle?
I'd rather not talk about that because that movie is just.
I think Rock-a-Doodle was the beginning of Don Bluth's dork age.
Oh, more than just the beginning. That movie was such a phenomenal drop in quality from the previous one that it's not even funny.
And it's really stunning how much of a drop in quality it was from All Dogs Go to Heaven. Like, what the heck happened?
A lot of people apparently... Okay, there you go. See, he's even telling him to stop. Hold on, leave him alone and everything. Hold on, give me a moment.
Good use of teamwork.
Hey, Dwips, I'm trying my best to spin this wheel. Could you give me a hand here?
There, done.
All right. Man, these wheels are really tough to spin. That's why they take so long to spin.
Well, okay, I know this may be cheating a bit, but there was one good musical thing Don Bluth did.
Yeah, Anastasia.
Well, we've already mentioned quite a few.
I was going to say the music video for that Scissor Sisters song. I mean, yeah, it's kind of cheating. No.
Like I said, Dwips, you can just go to American Tail. There you go.
Again, Dwips, American Tail, Anastasia, and All Dogs Go to Heaven.
Yeah, that's the way that, in terms of like officially made stuff that most people have seen, I wouldn't have expected his last one to be a music video for Scissor Sisters, but there we are.
Well, that's the thing, Dibs. It's because the band were huge fans of his movies, so they got him. And remember, at the time, as you know, Don was kind of having trouble with his career, so obviously he had to take work where he could get. Yeah, that's another thing. Okay, can we talk about Toronto's henchmen, buddies, whatever that you want to call them, the characterization is like the polar opposite of Toronto. They're just mean for no reason. Like you can maybe argue, they're supposed to be bullies, I guess, but I don't know. Like they're just. It feels like they're written this way just so we can have conflict into the movie.
I think that what they are meant to be is sort of foils to Toronto, whereas Toronto is the well-meaning antagonist. They are the antagonists who just want the power and all of that jazz. It's also to show, again, the goodwill nature of Toronto, which again flies into the face of what this movie ultimately does with him, but that's... We'll talk about that when we get to the ending.
Yeah, there you go. Wait, did you notice? Did you notice? Like, his wings were not transparent, but the moment he took off, they became transparent.
I guess the idea is that they become transparent when they're flying?
How? Well, unless he's got magical armor on them or something.
Ominous. Oh, it's not like they do this every time. Oh, wait.
Yeah, that's another thing, yeah. You know, you guys should start seriously considering punishing your kids, because it doesn't seem like telling them not to do it again is working.
To the kids' credit, them running off usually helps make things better, somehow.
In this particular movie, it didn't, so...
Well, I mean, hey, they got Ducky back.
Well, but Ducky shouldn't have left to begin with.
Well, no. To be fair, Ducky was kidnapped, so she didn't exactly have a choice in that regard.
Sure. Well, yeah, that sounds, yeah, sure. That sounds like a reasonable place to hide him for me. Yeah, I agree. Like, could you, chill out?
And again,
I got a Sarah, but not dead.
And again, he does show concern for the children as well.
If you're so that's what I would say if I was Toronto right now. Look, if you feel like you're such a much better leader than me, then by all means, fearless leader, tell us what we should do. Oh God, no! Please, not another one. I mean, at least Jeff Bennett can sing, so that's nice. At least. So. Well, you're constantly talking about how much of a crap leader he is, so why is this a problem for you? Shouldn't you be kind of happy that you're going your separate ways?
It seems more like Rinkus is the one who tries to be the mediator between Tyranno and, God, what's Jim Cummings' character's called?
The problem as well.
Oh, and
here's the problem as well.
Sierra.
We were talking about the riding around Tyranno. This is another problem of this song. Like Bob Shaw put it in his review, this song kind of tries to portray him as, being full of himself, which, again, doesn't really fit with what the other scenes have been trying to establish. So which is it, movie? Are we supposed to be against him because he's full of himself, or are we supposed to feel sorry for him because, he tragically got some people killed accidentally? Which is it? You can't have him be a tragic, sympathetic figure while still having him be cocky and full of himself. I'm getting mixed signals here.
If I were to play devil's advocate, my idea is like, this would be showing sort of an inner conflict of Tyranno between, again, acknowledging his flaws, but still wanting people to see him for what he does truly offer to the group as a potential leader here. Now again, the problem is that the story around him does not factor this in well.
Why do you even care about this stone to begin with?
I forget if the movie even tells us later on, but supposedly this stone is supposed to help out their goals somehow.
Somehow.
I'll be honest, the biggest crime in this movie so far is that aside from the really wonky early use of digital animation, it's just really uninteresting.
Again, Wibbs, if you pay attention, you also notice the problems with the plot surrounding Toronto as well. Like,
I'm sure he does. We've been pointing it out after all.
I mean, Joe, it's still not very exciting, is it?
I mean, it's because again, it's Toronto single-handedly can't. Okay, the execution of Toronto is already not perfect as it is. So the fact that everything around them is so banal and vanilla.
Oh yeah, Toronto's definitely the one carrying this movie, but even that can only do so much.
Damn, even these characters are getting tired as it goes.
So yeah, now the kids want to reach the stone before the fires because I guess that stone has some secret powers as far as everyone's concerned. Yeah, okay.
Seriously, couldn't you come up with a better explanation for why we have to leave the Great Valley? Like, it's just this rock fell, and we have to see what it is because.
Okay, to their credit, they did give a reason for why they needed to initially leave to rescue Ducky, but now it's that they want to reach the stone before the flyers, and like.
Why?
I forget
if they gain from this.
I forget if they tell us later what they think. Not even what they know, but what they think they'll gain from it. But yeah, no, this is definitely the weakest plot so far in giving us a reason to venture out. Like, logic dictates that the kids should just go back home after rescuing Ducky.
Mm-hmm.
But then we wouldn't have a movie.
Yeah. Yeah, the characters are bored of the movie, so they're gonna sleep through it. Yeah, let's sleep inside a volcano. That's a good idea. What could possibly go wrong?
Whee! Whimsy. God, I hate the payoff to this mystery. Oh, gee, I wonder who that could be. It's not like we can clearly see under that shadow.
I wonder.
Now we are clearly in Scar's hideout from Lion King.
Yes, be prepared. Seriously, we're in the elephant graveyard now. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Man, this particular movie really likes to rip off Disney, doesn't it?
Yep. How dare you help these kids that were starving?
Yeah.
I know what the payoff is, but no, I'm sorry. No, I'm sorry. Like, what was he supposed to do? Let them die of hunger?
What the fucking hell? Why? What's wrong with this stupid movie? Like,
I swear. And you know what? These are two characters that we're supposed to like.
why? Hold on. Why do you even have a problem with them being here to begin with? Weren't you all talking about how awesome it would be to go to the Musketeers Beyond? Like, I don't.
It all has
What?
to do with the payoff. It's really dumb.
Well, yeah, it's just even with that payoff in mind that you're talking about, that I know it still doesn't make much more sense to me. Like, it's just
But don't
weird.
you see? It's wrong that they help them because they have to do it on their own and all of that.
Ugh. Movie's fucking stupid.
Yes, Pedro. It's almost like we had established that.
Ugh.
I don't want to know about what goes on up your shaft.
Shaft. This is a bad idea.
God forbid we explain a damn thing in this movie.
Fuck you.
Don't you see, guys? Just keep asking questions. So you see, Patch Adams says, oh, you should be just looking right at the solution. Here, this movie is
Hello.
saying, you should be looking
sure.
only at the questions.
Basically, sure, even though Toronto is, as we've established, trying to do good, they still want to have him have a song where he's acting all cocky and full of himself. And I'm just like, wait, do you want us to feel sorry for his tragedy, or do you want us to dislike him because he's cocky and full of himself? Make up your mind, you movie. It's like Jova said, the movie doesn't seem to understand what they want to do with Toronto.
I really do wonder if there was like one writer who was strictly giving it his or her all, writing Toronto the best they could, and then all the other writers were writing the rest of the plot. Also, you remember the rainbow?
Sorry. go ahead.
You remember the Rainbow Beak, Shiroi?
Yep.
Turns out they were the ones who have been helping our heroes, which apparently the female one takes offense to because they're not supposed to be helping.
Why?
There's actually going to be a reason later, Shiroi, but it's really stupid.
Yeah.
Because of
The messed up
pride that I had.
the messed up thing is that it seems like she suggests that he should have let them starve instead of giving them food.
Yeah.
Which, yeah. Reminder: those two are the characters that the movie wants us to like.
Aside from that, Shiroi, you didn't really miss much of anything because this movie just loves to spin its wheels.
So here it is,
there
the
you go.
Stone
There
of
you go.
Cold Fire.
So, was it worth it, Littlefoot? Was it? There you go. We came all this way just to look at a rock. Good job, guys. Good job.
But it's blue.
So fucking what?
Well, I guess paint doesn't exist in this universe, so...
Okay, so what does he want to do?
Oh, this coming bit. Watch this. I love this bit.
Not for nothing, Petrie, but everyone in the Great Valley seems to hate him, so
Yeah.
I can understand why he might not like his place in things.
Oh, here you go. So yeah, they're convinced that the Stone of Cold Fire is apparently some kind of magic godly thing. Hold on. Here you go. Or maybe the stone had plenty of time to cool. Idiot.
Okay, to be fair, they're dinosaurs. Science has not exactly been invented.
Yeah, I was going to say, science.
Sure.
I will say the actor's giving it his all.
Oh, yeah.
Well, it's Jeff Bennett, Shiroi. So, aka the voice of Dexter's dad and Johnny Bravo. So.
Huh.
Not to mention the announcer from Korra. Does he have a name, Jova? The announcer from...
Oh, he does have a name, but I forgot what was the announcer's name.
He also was at the beginning of every Korra episode where we have that narration in 1950s style. Yep. That's Jeff Bennett doing that as well. Jeff Bennett is awesome. Like, so that's just, to be expected. So
they think there's something buried inside that rock.
This one. Isn't it?
Paradise! You got sharp teeth that regularly invade that place!
No. I'm talking about the Great Valley. To be fair, the sharp teeth only invaded the Great Valley in the second movie because they broke down the wall.
Oh, no.
Pedro, remember movie 6? There was the Allosaurus and the Tyrannosaurus Rex.
Right. Wait, was that in the Great Valley, or was it, like, outside of it?
Is that the one with the big water?
No. That's movie 5, that was on an island.
I was under the impression that that took place outside of the valley, Jove, in movie 6. Was it?
I thought that was within the Great Valley, but maybe it wasn't pointed out the best.
Yeah, well, okay. My basic point is, I love Petrie's line here, but we got paradise back at Great Valley. You need no fix, just need to not break. From Petrie's mouth to the writer's ears. Maybe you should stop. Like, not to mention, Petrie's the voice of reason.
Oh,
you
snap!
Should have stayed at the Great Valley. You should have just stayed at the Great Valley, you morons. And there he goes.
He's not gonna let it happen again.
There you go. Oh, okay. I love the one that he's about to have. Just hear this. He's been good. The fact that he's a crap leader has nothing to do with whether he's a good person or bad person.
And honestly, can we even call him a crap leader when, again, like we mentioned, it was legit just bad luck that his herd got attacked.
Yeah. You see what I mean? Like the movie doesn't know what the fuck it's doing. The movie's stupid as all fuck.
Was there a Land Before Time that released in 2001?
I'm guessing 8, maybe? I don't know.
I mean, it makes sense. Jurassic Park 3 was out at that time.
Oh boy, here we go.
So, Shiroi, take a wild guess. What are we going to do about Toronto saving the children?
Okay, so a reduced punishment.
Okay, cool. Excuse me?
So 5 years, right?
Yeah, 5 years.
God, these dinosaurs are pricks.
Yeah, exactly. He'll be all alone and defenseless. That's needlessly cruel, don't you think?
Hey,
it isn't.
Pedro.
What the fuck?
Hey, guys, not for nothing, but didn't Grandpa Longneck said that no opinion was supposed to outweigh another's early in this movie?
Thank you, Joe. Yeah, thank you. Remember, Shiroi, Grandpa Longneck takes pride in his opinion not being any better.
And yet Tyranno accepts this punishment. Again, he is arguably the Chad of the story, but look, I can get punishing him.
I'm gonna die out there.
Oh my god! I just realized, guys.
What?
Yes.
Group of elderly people who are thought to be really wise and all-knowing, and yet turn out to be a bunch of assholes that give out needlessly cruel punishments to people who don't really deserve it most of the time. These dinosaurs are the Time Lords.
Well, there you go then.
I mean, yeah, no, this ending really leaves a bad taste in my mouth.
It's so... That's so pointlessly cruel and for no good reason. Here and guess what, Shiro? Bob in his review came up with a much better way. Here's an idea: you can have him be the Watch. You know, like he constantly flies around on the outside perimeter of the Great Valley, making sure there is no danger and there's no sharp tooth in sight. That way, he can, you know, serve society in a way while still being away from it. And then after those 5 years go by, he can be reintegrated again. See? Isn't that so? But no, of course not. We have to be pointlessly. Oh.
But believe it or not, the worst is yet to come.
Why? We're almost done.
You'll see, Shiroi.
No, Shiroi. This is where the franchise officially jumps the shark.
This is all you two's goddamn fault. If you had just told us that it was a pointless rock, none of this would have happened.
Not just that. Hold on.
Oh no.
Why?
Hold on.
Why?
Believe it or not, Shiroi, that was not an error in the script they made.
No, that was intentional.
Are they like time traveling humans?
Nope.
No, Dibs.
It's worse, Shiroi.
So, Dibs, about the whole Star Trek thing you mentioned before.
Why?
Wait for it. All right,
No,
one last
Get
song
to the
for
fucking
the road.
point.
No, sorry.
No. I just want to remind you, the reason we even had a plot was because the issue went on about, oh no, this stone of cold fire would totally be the raddest thing, yo. And that's why Tyranno formed this plan even.
It's like this movie didn't need to happen already.
God, yes. They were aliens.
There you go, Gribbs. Turns out this was Littlefoot's meeting with the fucking Federation.
This is why they.
And then they guess they died on the way back to their home planet.
You see, this is why they talked about not interfering too much, because yes,
They
they're
belong to the
God.
Galactic Federation.
Ladies and gentlemen, dinosaur aliens.
This is fucking hilarious. I'm sorry.
And
Yeah,
now,
I know what you're talking. I know what you're talking about. Jumping the shark. This film's been so boring. Yeah, that's the most.
I
that's the most fun
crave
I've
this
had with this film.
excitement.
well, you know, if you like that, all the more power to you. But you gotta
I mean,
admit,
it can't really jump the shark if it never started surfing in the first place.
Okay. Let's be honest. This is legit jumping the shark. Like, for as silly as these movies have gotten before, no. We never got as ludicrous as Aliens before this.
But see, here's the thing, Dibs. Even if it's laughable, which it is, doesn't change the fact that it's still stupid and really out of place in a franchise.
Yeah, but
like this.
honestly, Pedro, this whole been so lifeless and dull that it needed something to wake me up, and well,
You got it.
it was that at least. Yeah,
And that was Land Before Time, The Falling Sky.
so
Literally.
So yeah, that was Land Before Time 7 Generations.
And now listen as we get a MIDI version of Beyond the Mysterious Beyond the Song. Also, these songs were composed by James Horner.
Well, remember, Java, they're still reusing bits of his original score, so they have to.
Yeah, I was like, what happened? Did Michael Tavera lose forget where his orchestra was, so he just used the MIDI versions.
Like, I mean, okay. Wait, hold on. Michael York is Toronto?
Oh, never mind. It's Michael York. I forgot. For some reason, I thought it was Jeff Bennett. Sorry. It's Michael York, Shiro. If you don't know who Michael York is, he was the Austin Powers' M equivalent. I forgot his name. What's his name, Dubs?
I don't know. It's been a while since I've seen Austin Powers.
The point is, Shiro, he's a well-known and very capable British actor.
Basil Exposition was his name.
That's it.
He was also Count Adrenal in The Murder on the Orient Express. Like, no. Serious props to Michael York's performance in this movie.
Oh, sure, and he can sing, as shown in his song, even though the song itself was stupid.
But yeah, like, I think the best way to describe this movie, it definitely has a hope spot in Toronto. The acting and Toronto's arc are arguably effectively done. It's just the story surrounding him is bad. Like, no, I'm sorry. His punishment is disproportionate as all hell. And may I remind you, the real fault lies with those two asshole dinosaurs who pretty much admit, yeah, we knew that the Stone of Cold Fire was nothing really, but, didn't you learn more by going after it? Ignoring the fact that people's lives got endangered because of that.
Yeah, that's a funny thing, Joe. But from what I understand, that was the plot of a Doctor Who episode. That was the plot of a Doctor Who episode during the Peter Capaldi era, in which she basically didn't do a whole lot and just let the I think it was called Kill. I haven't seen it, which we saw before. What I looked up. It's basically he just not entirely, but just necessarily lets the humans deal with a situation, and the companion. And the point this way, Joe, it went so well, the companion left and threatened to never come back.
Sure. Also, sorry.
She came back in the next episode, but yeah.
Also, sorry, Pedro. The toy plane logo does come back after the credits, it looks like.
Whatever.
Okay, can I go first?
Sure.
Go on.
Okay, aside from the Time Lord dinosaurs and the Galactic Federation dinosaurs, this one was just really dull and lifeless. Like nothing happened. And what did happen is either annoying or uninteresting,
or just mean-spirited. Honestly,
yeah. Like I said, the Time Lord dinosaurs.
Yeah, he's calling all the adults Time Lords.
Yeah, a species which is spoken very highly of, not just by the characters in the universe, but also by some fans who don't really seem to think, oh, these Time Lords are fucking assholes, actually. But yeah, honestly, that's the saddest thing. The more stupid bits are the ones where I was the most interested in. All the rest of it, all the so-called plot, was just a meandering mess.
Yeah.
And what a great start to the new millennium for this series.
Like I said, the one thing keeping this movie from being completely unsalvageable is Toronto, because I kid you not, he is legit one of the best written characters we've gotten in some time. And I don't just mean that in a sense that, oh, everyone's been written bad. Like, no. He has legit moral complexities. He is not just a 2-bit cookie-cutter villain. And he's one that's definitely a change to the formula as a whole. It's so weird. It's like they made him to try and balance out all the bad of this movie.
Well, yeah, so this is definitely the worst one I've seen so far, on account of either being dull or just yeah, that's just it. The film was just really dull, aside from those 2 bits, and like those 2 bits combined lasted like 3 minutes. Yeah, 3 minutes of a movie that's like an hour and 14.
Mm-hmm.
How grand. So yeah, we're halfway through the films at least. We've only got 7 more left to go, plus a TV series if we do that.
Which, speaking of which, given that the 14th movie takes place after the TV series, that might be a factor to consider, seeing as how there are some things different in 14.
Yeah, and it's only 13 episodes long, so it's not like it's something that's hard to get done. But again, we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. You done, Libs?
Yeah, I am. I'm done.
Yeah, okay, I'll admit, it's weird. There are parts of this movie that were worse than I remember. There were parts of this movie that were better than I remember. Surprise, surprise, all the bits that were better than I remember have to do with Toronto. Like, no, he's actually a very well fleshed out character that the movie definitely seems to want us to hate, with not really good reasoning. And it's so jarring. It's definitely the worst movie of Land Before Time so far, but the frustrating thing is that it did not have to be. Like, we really did have a good thing going with Toronto. But then that ending comes up and it's just, yeah, no. And then the aliens come and it's like, holy crap. Now granted, if you're in this, like, jump in the shark moments, this is the perfect Land Before Time movie for you, because I don't think it gets any crazier than flippin' aliens, man. That being said, though, again, like, Toronto is carrying this plot, and he is the only reason that I would not pretty much erase this, because, let's be honest, aside from Toronto, there is nothing of value in this movie. The supposed actual wise personnel in this movie, the two aliens, are assholes. The female one even more so, because she seems to suggest that it was a bad thing that the male one left food out for the kids. What the hell? I get it.
The adults in the Great Valley became completely uncaring assholes as well.
Like, yeah, holy cow. So, I think the best way to describe this movie is like, okay, imagine you have a 3-course meal, and the steak, you know, the main course of it, is actually good for the most part. The problem is that imagine if literally everything else in the meal was bad. Like, even if it were a fantastic steak, if the rest of the meal is so terrible, I would argue that you would call that a bad experience overall. But, admittedly, with sections that you can't deny that you did enjoy. That's at least how I feel about this, because Toronto is definitely a strong aspect of the movie. Again, it feels like whoever was writing anything that didn't have to directly do with Toronto was working against whoever was writing for Toronto. It's so baffling and jarring. Which is the best way to describe this movie as a whole, because it's Land Before Time meets aliens.
Yeah.
What else can I say, really?
Pretty much.
Next.
Hold on, give me a moment. Let me just double check real quick. This movie only had one writer, Jova.
So was this writer Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde?
Apparently. All right, Shiroi, go ahead.
Yeah, this movie was mostly just boring and not really all that irritating until the second half. The end was hilarious, and like that doesn't mean I like it. It was just hilarious. No, the one irritating thing about this movie is just everybody sucks.
Yeah.
Like, and inconsistently too. It's like, I don't know who exactly I'm supposed to root for. I feel bad for the uncle, though, like, a lot of the time. Jesus Christ. Like, it feels like they were trying to force a villain. But
remember, Shiroi, they showed that to us. What we saw in that flashback clearly was just a case of bad luck.
Yeah. And then they make him an ass, like it is.
And yet they banish him, and then at the end they banish him again.
I mean, apparently it's gonna be temporary, but for all we know, he could die out there alone.
Yeah, that's 5 winters on his own.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Yeah, like okay, kill him, I guess, but
I guess it's
also aliens.
Supposedly, it's the end to his arc of taking responsibility for his actions, which he technically does, yeah, but I'd argue in the worst way possible. And yeah, the aliens.
God, that was so stupid.
Don't you see, Shiroi? They were the true knowledgeable ones because they're aliens. Again, so I just don't get this. So they say that they shouldn't be helping the kids, even though the kids are on a journey that they themselves put into motion by pretty much misleading them into thinking the Stone of Cold Fire was, like, the most awesome thing, yo.
Again, everything in this movie is just so inconsistent. And also, instead of having terrible musical numbers, not just terrible in songs but not just terrible as songs themselves, but as active musical numbers, can you just talk? It takes like 2 sentences to explain the shit the songs explain. Please cut this runtime down, because I'm gonna be honest, this movie kind of dragged.
Sure. So by the time we get to movie 10, there's a song that's so pointless and unnecessary that Bob Show manages to edit it out of the movie and still make the edit seamless.
Oh no, like I've seen instances of that before, so I believe it. I believe it.
Yeah, like he cut out a lot.
It's kind of like what I did with the Lion Guard. Basically, there's an episode of the Lion Guard where I decided to do the same thing Bob does, which is remove the song from the episode. And guess what? I managed to make it perfectly seamless. Hey, songwriters, when I can edit out a song out of your fucking script and somehow nobody even notices unless they knew there was a song there to begin with, that means you have a problem. Go on.
But I think that's all I have to say. This was just, this was bad, inconsistent, and very surreal by the end.
Would you agree
that this
is? Would you agree? Yes. Would you agree that this is the worst Land Before Time movie so far?
I'm gonna say, I don't know if it's, it's the most frustrating. But again, by the second half, like I don't know about it being the worst. I'm gonna be honest with you, Jova. After we watch these movies, I shove it out my brain.
Okay, let me help you there. See, the thing is, okay, the one that you react most of the time, you're just mostly bored by this movie. One movie you were particularly miffed about was the third one, because you didn't like how the third one was constantly going on about stranger danger, and as you put it in that commentary, I'm not a child, I'm nearly 30.
It's like, okay, stranger danger is important for children, but do you really need a feature-length fucking film explaining this lesson?
No, you did not.
That's like a 15 or 25-minute episode show at best.
Yeah, but this one, but here's the thing, Shira. At the very least, that movie was trying to have a point. This movie, what is even the point of this movie? Exactly. Being an uncaring asshole is the way to go. Oh, and by the way, if you screw up, that means you're terrible. So yeah.
Oh my God! They cancelled him.
They literally canceled him.
Why? Why did you?
They're not letting him. Like, he needs to like. This entire thing was a misunderstanding, and not even in like a fun way. Like, all right, now you can go ahead, Pedro.
No, it's okay. 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 For all the reasons, the movie sucks balls. For all the reasons me and Joe have been pointing out. See, let me explain something to everybody about why about these movies. See, to me, the fact that these movies completely abandon the darker and melancholic tone of the original, plus the fact that they have songs, that to me already makes them failures as Land Before Time movies in my eyes, because they're not even trying to replicate Don Bluth's original vision. But that being said, even on their own merits, these movies are just starting to get to a point where they're just embarrassing. You know, like they suck. They just suck. I'm sorry.
Like, look, let me put it like this. I have had some things to defend about each movie. Again, to varying extents, I still acknowledge their flaws. This is probably the first Land Before Time sequel where, for as much as I like what they did with Toronto, I cannot and will not defend the movie as a whole, because Crisis was stupid.
It was. All right. Yeah, aside from that, yeah, that's basically it. The movie doesn't know what the fuck it's doing. It tries to portray Toronto as a quote-unquote evil character, or at the very least bad character that needs to learn a lesson, even though he doesn't really. I mean, all he needs to realize is that Actually, no, never mind. Like Jova said, not even the whole bad leader thing. It's more so the fact that he got one moment where there was genuinely bad luck, because, like me and Jova have said, what happened to him and his urge could have easily happened in anywhere in the mysterious beyond. So there's literally no reason to act this way. It's stupid.
But don't you see? Well, he dared to want to be a leader instead of just going with the unanimous system, because that's always been flawless itself. Oh wait.
No opinion is more important than mine, except for mine.
You know what's kind of messed up when you think about this? Technically, what Toronto was trying to doing is what our protagonists mainly do. They do stuff that the most of the group don't agree with, but they turn out usually to be right about it in some varying degree or whatnot. He just happened to be unlucky about it.
Yeah. The point is, everybody, Land Before Time 7, The Stone of Coldfire, is a colossal disaster. It may not seem like it, but when you actually break it down and analyze it on a deeper level, like me and Jova have, yeah, from a writing standpoint, this movie is a fucking disaster. So yeah, that was it, everybody. We'll continue the journey for the Land Before Time with the next one. I forgot the name of the next one. It's the one that takes place in the snow. So
the big freeze,
where we find the uncle's dead body.
Yeah, the big freeze, aka the title that Alpha and Omega will later steal. So tune in for that.
Another top tier work of fiction, of course.
Oh yeah.
See ya.
Yeah.
See ya.